A UFO Theory of Everything Part 2. Relationships with brain type. Some people have a natural non-neurotypical aptitude for accessing these states. For example, people with ADHD produce higher baseline theta to alpha wave ratios when they are awake. And elevated levels persist in dreaming, meaning they experience more vivid archetypal dreams and sleep paralysis. In ADHD, this seems to accord with abnormal morphology in the caudate putamen, which Professor Nolan put forward as a physical correlation for people being exposed to the UAP phenomena. In the theta state, the brain is actually more globally connected. It's just that normal consciousness goal-oriented activity and focus on relevant external phenomena, the fast alpha state, requires inhibition of the theta state. A tuning of the focus to a more limited band of information, sensory or cognitive. Implication for dreaming and other altered states. The unconscious experiences in dreaming is the theta state. The waveforms are interacting with themselves to a much greater degree, but weakly interacting with physical reality. This is why we become aware of many unconscious contents, and diverge in our definite sense of self and in perceived space and time, while at the same time are unable to use our bodies. Our frequencies are in a phase state that cannot interfere with the extended fields in our wider nervous system. At the boundaries of these phase transitions, the wave states are interacting with other frequency domains where various NHIs originate. We can tell this by the quality of the dream. It will be unusually uncanny, vivid, time distortion will be experienced. Unusual geometric shapes are often present, or archetypal symbolism. And we will report perceptions of very distinct entities quite different from normal dream content. The entities use our symbolic forms when they communicate in order for us to discern them. We cannot imagine anything that does not derive from our sensory experience of objects in space-time or an amalgamation of them. The key to realizing this is to be able to encode this information. This requires lucidity, the neural correlate of which is both alpha waking and theta dreaming brainwaves being present at the same time. Again, certain brain types have a higher aptitude for this, which could be observed by tech like fMRI. The UFO phenomena suggest that the NHI can more easily communicate with people in these theta states, or prefers to do so. Historical analogues. This ties in with the consistent perception of our ancestors that the experience of NHI, variously called aliens, spirits, gods, etc., can be triggered or evoked by altering the state of consciousness. Historically, this was by inducing trance states, through drumming, singing, or taking psychedelic substances. The drumming, singing, or plant substances are not the mechanism itself. They are all triggers for altering the electromagnetic brain state to induce theta waves while still awake. We don't need to posit anything spiritual, the point of interaction of the phenomena with the fields of our brains, or the fields or energy and matter of the external environment, should potentially always be observable. The two approaches required are study of the fields in the brain when these interactions are reported to be occurring. Relationship between consciousness and UFO experiences. The evidence suggests that manifestation of physical craft and beings is preceded by experiences in dreams and altered states, experiences in consciousness associated with the theta state. The manifestation then proceeds to gross electromagnetic manifestations, light phenomena, plasma orbs, and finally to appearances of physical craft. The insiders realized this a long time ago when they saw that UAP are strongly corrected with reports of telepathic communication, and that UAP manifestations intersected with their psychic spy programs like Stargate. For this reason, they have attempted to communicate with the intelligence using remote viewers. It is also why they are very interested in claimed experiencers. Experiencers are kind of like an anchor for the phenomena to be able to appear in physical space. Different ways of looking at it. You can look at this two ways. The brain waves of certain people are phasing away from our accepted consensus reality when they are in characteristic states. Where they are now weakly interacting with physical reality, they cannot move their bodies, their perceptions are not shared by people in the normal waking brain states. At the extremity of this phase transition, they are interacting with other frequency domains. The UAP are doing the reverse. They are phasing towards our reality. First, they are detectable mainly by sensitives in certain characteristic brain states, and then becoming progressively more physical, strongly interacting with our local matter and energy. The UAP intelligence at source does not have bodies, or brains as we would understand them, at least in our spacetime. How can something non-physical interact? To create physical manifestations, it has to manufacture bodies, craft and beings to house its electromagnetic energy and allow it to interact and persist with our spacetime. It does this by building matter from the ground up out of these fundamental fields. This is why UAP craft show signs of being waveguides for particular frequencies of electromagnetic energy weakly interacting with our senses and instruments, such as the terahertz frequency. It is also why the beings have been described as containers, or biological androids. The fact that the material manifestations are manufactured for the purpose of interaction with our local reality explains the wide range of craft and energetic manifestations, and the range of different beings reported. We don't need to posit anything spiritual, the point of interaction of the phenomena with the fields of our brains, or the fields or energy and matter of the external environment, should potentially always be observable. The two approaches required are study of the fields in the brain when these interactions are reported to be occurring. The evidence suggests that manifestation of physical craft and beings is preceded by experiences in dreams and altered states. Experiences in consciousness associated with the theta state. The manifestation then proceeds to gross electromagnetic manifestations, light phenomena, plasma orbs, and finally to appearances of physical craft. These may be what we model as quantum entangled forms of matter, condensates. We should be able to measure and understand their properties, even if we cannot see the thing itself. Why it takes such varied forms? Essentially, the UAP intelligence has to hack our brains, the electromagnetic frequencies that interfere with their own reality in certain states, to provide templates to appear plausible to us. We cannot see it as is. The UAP intelligence may not be able to perceive our space and time directly and may think very differently from us, which is why its behavior and motivations are so obscure. As the electromagnetic waves of our consciousness can cross into these frequency domains in certain phase transitions, we can hypothesize that the same thing is occurring in psychedelic experiences such as DMT trips and in NDEs. Lastly, the evidence suggests that these other frequency domains are not in time. All major transitions to theta wave states lead to the experience of altered time sense. We see this in those vivid dreams that seem to last weeks or years, or in the DMT world, where people report the perception they were there for years or even hundreds of years. Expectations. The matter and energy predicted may show unusual tells that could suggest it was being manipulated from outside our frame of reference, or formed from the ground up by manipulating fields. This may take the form of quantum entangled matter such as Bose-Einstein condensates, or persistent materials such as craft analyzed as being waveguides for unusual frequencies of M radiation. M anomalies may be correlated with craft. The bodies will have no evolutionary explanation. Matter produced may be short-lived, unstable. Evidence for understanding of manipulating fundamental fields may be more prevalent than signs that the phenomena understands gross matter and spacetime. Phenomena may not share accepted behaviors of biological life form. Anomalous experiences will correlate with repeatable M signatures in the brain and M anomalies in the local environment. Light phenomena, orbs, not explained by regular physics. They phenomena will require matter and energy partly gained from the local reality, which should manifest as power fluctuations or alterations in the local biological environment, such as missing elements. All matter and energy will have to be taken from this locale. We will never be able to measure the source, only the point of interaction, and infer the source. Perceptions of NHI outside gross physical manifestations will always correlate with brain states, primarily theta wave states. While the reality cannot be verified, information gained can be. Post from user Savon Crow at Reddit.